Okay guys, I'm back, and if you guys don't know, I have been in probably what feels like the biggest slump of my life recently, and it is currently May 13th, and when I tell you I only have one book under my belt for the month of May, and that has me wanting to like shrivel up and die. And if you guys don't also know, if you guys don't follow my Goodreads, one, you should, it's right here. Two, my goal is to read 100 books this year. I'm only at 30. I'm 7 books behind schedule. So, and this reading slump, well, if you guys don't follow my Goodreads, you should. It's right here, little self promo. 2, my goal is to read 100 books this year, and I'm only at 30. I'm also currently 7 books behind schedule, and this little reading slump that I've hit, it's not helping me out. And my TBR, you can't see my cart right now because of the light, but my TBR is not getting any smaller. So let me just run you down my month of May. So I started off with City of Fallen Angels, book 4 in the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare. I finished with 3 Infernal Devices. I was ready to move on to the last 3 Immortal Instruments, and I got maybe halfway into City of Fallen Angels, and I was ready to DNF the rest of the series. And this is a 9-book series, and I did not spend my last 2 months reading 6 of them to not read the last 3. So I was like, okay, I'll put it down. I'll read something more fantasy-y, you know? So I picked up A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen. Tell me why it took me the whole goddamn week to read it. Literally like 8 days to read a 400-page book, and that was making me go crazy. I don't know what it is about me trying to like beat myself up about reading fast, but that's what I was doing. So I finally finished A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen last night, and I feel the slump slowly evaporating. The key word is slowly. So I decided, instead of going back to City of Fallen Angels, which was my original plan, maybe I need to switch up the genre a little bit. So I'm currently reading, or I'm gonna currently be starting, You with the View by Jessica Joyce, and I've heard really good things about this, and it's a cute little rom-com. So it's 2 former high school enemies must reunite for a road trip inspired by their grandparents' broken engagement in this electric debut romance. Oh, so I guess this is her first book. Well, that's even better. We love a new author, and we love a debut book. So this is what I'm starting with on this getting out of a reading slump journey, and I'm going to take you along. Because also tomorrow, Dixon Rule, which is the 2nd book in the Campus Diaries by Elle Kennedy, is coming out. So we all know how much I love Elle Kennedy, and I love her hockey romances. So I'm excited for that. So come along with me on my week of trying to get out of a reading slump, and let's see how many books I read. So let's keep this energy going, and wish me luck. Okay. I actually started You with a View last night, but I only got to page 13, and I don't know if I'm the only one who does this, but it could be 11 p.m. and I just finished a book, and then I have to immediately start the next book. Even if I'm only gonna read 10 pages, I still like have to start it the night before. Like, I could have just easily waited until today and started it, but I had to read the first chapter. Literally, I read the first chapter, and I'm on chapter 2 now, last night. So, make it make sense, but I do it every time, and I just, like, it cracks me up, because I will start my Goodreads, and I will say start reading, and I will track my progress and put page 13 to update my Goodreads, even though it's only 13 pages. So it's grind time. I've had such a productive day. I got everything on my to-do list done. So now it's about 9 p.m. I have a solid 2 hours. I owe like 9 to 11. This is my typical reading window. Sometimes to midnight, depending on how I feel. But I'm very tired, so I don't know how long I'll last. But I just had to preface this by saying, because I thought it was really funny that I literally read 13 whole pages. Okay, I wasn't going to annotate this book, but I have to. These quotes are just funny, and I'm over here cackling. It's about like 50-ish pages in, and I like their banter, and I like the nostalgia, because her grandma is dead. She just died. And she's so, like, connected to her grandma. That's why she wants to, like, that's why she wanted to find this person and kind of know more about the life that she never knew her grandma had. I don't know if I explained the plot of this book. So basically, this girl, Noelle, she's unemployed, living with her parents, and she's grieving the loss of her grandmother. And then she, like, discovers these old letters, and it was like a secret, like, she finds these old letters in these pictures, and it wasn't like her grandpa, so she wants to know like who this man is. And because it's the modern day, she goes on TikTok and tries to find him, and like the grandson like responds to her viral TikTok, and then the grandson happens to be her high school nemesis, and you know, so she ends up meeting his grandfather, then he always has to be there, and then they go on like a trip that the grandparents never got to fulfill, and they all have to go together, and obviously, you know, they fall in love. But that's the kind of the plot. So we're starting at the beginning, duh, and they've like just sorry, and since I'm only like 50 pages in, not much has happened yet, but you know, they've like, oh, you again, blah blah, and you know, they just like have this banter that they kind of had in high school, because they were nemesis. They were like both academically, what's the word, like they were like academic rivals. So like he was valedictorian and she was upset because she wanted to, you know, stuff like that. So it's just really funny, and I'm really enjoying it more than I thought I was, actually. So I got like 50 pages in and decided that I wanted to annotate, and so I went back and annotated some, and now I'm putting the tabs in them. So I just had to document that, because you know a book's good when I annotate it. And I don't always start annotating a book. Like, sometimes I go into it like, oh, I'm going to annotate this, and then it kind of never happens because I feel like I forced it. So sometimes I kind of just start reading, and then if I find things that are like, find things I want to annotate, then I'll like go back and do it. That makes sense, you know? So I decided to start, so now I can annotate. So I went back and annotated, and now I can annotate going forward. Okay, so now I'm on chapter 6 for anyone who wants the update, and this is really good. Now I have to text Emma my update because I can't do anything without texting my bookish friends. And we all know Emma. I talk about Emma all the time. Emma is like the bookish friend, like my first one, my best friend. So Emma girl, if you're watching this, I love you. And sorry for all these updates that I'm about to spam you with. Now we're gonna update my Goodreads, because everyone needs to know that I'm obsessed with this right now. Dare I say this is curing my slump. Okay, so it's currently 12:17, and I I'm on page 105, chapter 11, and it's hard to see, but I have a lot of tabs, and I'm eating this book up, and I don't want to put it down, but I do need to sleep. But this is perfect. This is such a good book, and it literally has every element. It has the banter, it has the heartfelt strings that just like make you want to cry, the camaraderie, and it just like pulls out my heartstrings. It really does. But now it's time to go to bed, and I will read more tomorrow. And I'm gonna take you tomorrow along with me going to Barnes to pick up Dixon Rule by L. Kennedy, because it's release day. And my ass is running to Barnes to shop. And for the past couple weeks I've been going to Barnes and nothing has caught my eye, so I'm excited to go again and look for some things. So hopefully I don't do too much damage, but we never know when it comes to me, so I'll keep you updated tomorrow. But I'm gonna go to bed, so good night. Okay, step 2 of getting out of the reading slump is going to Barnes and buying new books. So I have my mother with me because I forced her to come along and we're gonna do some book shopping. And it's a nice rainy day, and there's nothing better than book shopping on a rainy day. So I will update you when we get there. Okay guys, I'm gonna give you guys a book haul if my phone stays.
Do you want me to not move?
Yeah, can you just say put for 2.5 seconds? Okay. I went a little crazy and I bought 3 books, but hopefully it'll get me out of my slump. So first I got the Dixon Rule by L. Kennedy, which is the second in the Campus Diary series. We talked about this. Release day is today. It's why I walked in to get it. And then I got A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemener, and I read her Defy the Night series and I really enjoyed it, so this is another series of hers. So this is the first one. And you know, Break the Curse, Save the Kingdom, interesting. And then The Serpent on the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I've already read this book, but I read it on my Kindle and the paperback is out, so I will be purchasing the series as it's re-released in paperbacks. So this is for the shelf because it's really too pretty not to have, and I really love this book, so maybe a reread might happen. So that's my haul. Mom got no books, but it's okay. She'll probably borrow some of mine.
Yes.
So slump cured. maybe not. Hopefully, but we've talked about this. I'm reading You with the View. Love it. And my next read is going to be Dixon Rule. So I'm really excited for this one. So that's the haul. And now I got to film it for TikTok. So we're in Target, and I wasn't planning on going to the book section, but Mom was taking too long, and I walked over there, and the first thing that I saw was When the Moon Hatched by Sarah Parker, and I have been debating buying this book on Amazon for weeks now, and it was over there. It was the first book I saw, so if that's not a sign, then I don't know what is. And then I didn't have my pens I normally annotate with, so I got these U brand ones that I'd seen on Amazon. So I did it. I did the damn thing. Oops. But this is why I cannot leave my house, because I always spend money. Okay, today's Wednesday, and last night I got to page 137, so I'm on chapter 14. I read about 3 chapters last night because I think I was on chapter 11, but I had a nail appointment this morning, and now I'm going to sit, drink my coffee, and read. So. Huh. Where is my phone? Do you know where my phone is? Okay, it's currently 8 p.m. I haven't left this spot. I left this spot to get food, or to eat food, go to the bathroom. I'm currently on page 259. I'm on chapter 25, and I have about 100 pages left. A little less than 100. So that's fun. And honestly, I'm probably gonna sit here, finish this last 100. I'm like 5 stars. Like, I feel like nothing could happen that would not make this book a 5-star for me. I'm already preparing myself for a third act breakup because that normally happens. So even if that happens, it still will probably be a 5-star for me, hopefully. Theo seems like the man who will grovel if he does something wrong. So. But I have a feeling it's not going to be him in this situation. I think he's way down bad for her. And I think she's going to be the one that says something or does something or walks away. And then she's going to have to, like, realize it. I don't think it'll be him. It's just the vibes I'm getting. Okay, last night I finished You With a View by Jessica Joyce. So, we're on step 3 of the slump. Once you finally finish a book, you have to keep up the momentum. And you have to do so by either in the situation, I would either reread a book I love if none of the books on my TBR are catching my eye, or if it's new releases and one has catched my eye, I have to immediately read that one. So, I have Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy, which is the second book in the Campus Diary series by Elle Kennedy. So I'm going to keep the momentum going by reading this. I'm a little intimidated because it's a very thick book for a romance. It's literally 480, like, 9 pages, so it's just under 500, but the plot sounds really good. We love a good fake dating sitch, and I'm intrigued. So, this is what I'm going to move on with. Hopefully it can keep my interest. If then, after I finish this, I need to finish book 4, The Mortal Instruments. That was the book that kind of got me, I don't want to say got me in my slump, but it's the book that kind of just had my slump increasing. So I'm scared to pick it back up, but I need to finish it before the month is over. And I'm nervous about it. But I don't know. I feel like if I wait too long, I only have like 200 pages left. I feel like if I wait too long to finish it, I'm never gonna finish the series. So, you're really not supposed to force yourself to read something you don't like. But I have put so much work into the Mortal Instruments series because it was the 3 Mortal Instruments, the 3 Infernal Devices, and then the last 3 of Mortal Instruments. So I've already read 6 of the 9 books, and I just refused to DNF the last 3. I did not read 6 books for nothing. So, that's my feelings on that. But we're going to start with the Dixon Rule, book number 2, that will help me get out of my slump. So, I'm excited. Okay, I'm 89 pages into the Dixon Rule, and this book is so funny. Shane Lindy, I love you. And Deanna is so funny because her hatred for Shane is like through the roof, and he loves it. Like, he loves pissing her off, and it's the funniest things. And their banter, top notch. One, we love the forced proximity because they are neighbors. She absolutely despises him. He loves that she despises him and loves cracking jokes at her. And then they decide to fake date. I'm not there yet, but I can't wait for that to happen because they are just top tier. And it's just the funniest thing ever. So I'm thoroughly enjoying myself, and I'm writing this book high right now, and I love it. So that's the update. I'm gonna continue this tomorrow because I'm going to bed. So okay, welcome back. I don't even know when the last day of this video was, but I think I was maybe like halfway into The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy, and I literally just finished it like not even 5 minutes ago. 5 stars. I loved it. Like I was just explaining to TikTok, if you guys see my TikToks, Elle Kennedy, I love her books. I've loved all of her series. I loved Off Campus, Where Are You? I'm loving Campus Diaries, and then I also loved the Prep series by her. And I was just saying that, where's book 3? Haven't seen it, haven't seen the announcement for book 3 for Prep. So, and I'm excited for book 3 of Campus Diaries. It's called, I think I saw, it's called The Charlie Effect. Something like that. Or The Charlie, I don't know, but there's no synopsis, so I don't know whose story it is. Anyway, I'm now starting House of Bane and Blood by Alexis Menard. And I know I said I wasn't going to start any fantasy until I finish Mortal Instruments, because I'm currently in the middle of City of Fallen Angels, which is book 4. But I am just like not into that right now. I will go back to it, but I can't bring myself to read that. But this one has been piquing my interest because I've seen like quotes from it on TikTok, edits from it on TikTok. I bought it a few weeks ago, and I just found out that the sequel just came out a few days ago. So I'm gonna read this, order the sequel like right this second, and so those 2 are gonna be the next ones on deck. So that's the update for you guys, and I'm not sure how long this video is gonna go for. I'm really not sure where we're at with like how much content I've filmed for it, but that's where I'm at right now. Okay, I am 130 pages into House of Bane and Blood. I don't know if I can accurately show you. No, you can't see, but the amount of tabs I have for 130 pages is like kind of insane to me, and I'm eating this up so hard. And I already ordered the sequel. It's going to be here tomorrow. Let me just tell you something. Enemies to lovers, arranged marriage, that combination of tropes really just has me kicking my feet giggling when he calls her his wife, even though they're not technically even married yet. They're like betrothed in this situation. Literally has me dead. And he calls her princess. Makes me weak in the knees. That's all I gotta say. And I love like the mystery aspect of it, because like he has secrets and she wants to like unravel them. Also, everyone's trying to kill her for some odd reason, so I'm really interested to know why. And and it's a fantasy, so it just like all those elements combined just hit differently, and I'm so very happy that I decided to pick it up, because I was like, I will die on the hill of not like mixing my fantasies. I don't like doing it. Like, if I'm in the middle of a fantasy series, I don't like starting another one. But in this case, it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, because Mortal Instruments just was not hitting as hard as this is hitting. Like, this is true fantasy. So, that's all I really gotta say. Okay, so today is Wednesday? No, today's Thursday. I finished House of Bone and Blood literally like 2 seconds ago. And if you can see all those tabs, I loved it. I actually rated it a 4.5 just because I'm a little confused what's going on for the fantasy aspect. So basically, it's a world where there's two bloodlines. Like, there's like the regular people and like the people who have what they call like a remnant, which is basically like a power. And like those remnants are essentially like descended from Remni, which are like people. And it's just very confusing. That aspect of it's a little confusing. So that's why I rated it a 4.5, just because I'm not quite sure what's going on, because there's someone who's collecting essentially one person who has a certain power, basically. And that's all I've really have grasped. So, the classification of so it's saying the classification of the Remni and their descended, and they're called remnant. So there's Bane, which are benders, dark thieves; blood, just worths and healings; mirth are shifters; giver and greeds are the all immortals; and then chaos, essentially. And it's like blocked out because that person doesn't exist, or that power doesn't exist. But spoiler alert, it does. So I don't know, it's just my brain is working to piece everything together right now. So that's why I rated it a 4.5. But that is going to be the end of this, how I got out of my reading slump. I think it's safe to say that I officially am out of it, and I'm actually going to start the sequel to this book right now, but I'm not going to include it in this video because we got to wrap it up. But yeah, and that's really my tips. I think this started out as like tips to get out of a reading slump. I'm not really sure how I did, but I do want to talk about that if you're ever in a reading slump, something that has always worked for me, besides what I did this time around, is to reread a favorite of mine. So if you have a favorite book, just reread it. And typically, the book I reread when I'm in a slump is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. It's my favorite book, honestly, and this book never fails to make me laugh. So if I didn't get out of my reading slump, I would resort to this bad boy, because this always puts a smile on my face. So oops. So those are all my tips and tricks for you, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Gotta put that bad boy back up. Bye.